Welcome to the Sheila C Hill Show. And that C stands for come on in this room and have a sit down so we can chat today. Listen, the Sheila C Hill Show is the ultimate go to podcast for ambitious individuals who want to live a more fulfilling and successful life to get valuable insights, expert tips, and inspiring stories to help you improve your lifestyle, grow your business, or just enhance your emotional well being. In every episode, you'll gain practical tips and insightful wisdom in a company of supportive community of like-minded individuals. I call these individuals Sheila's Thrive Tribe. Yes, you heard it here. And you can be a Thrive in part of the Thrive Tribe as well. You just like, subscribe, and share, and voila, it's just that easy. Now, if you're new to this show, I just want you to know I'm so glad that you're here. And I am your host, Sheila C. Hill. And I would like just to say hello. Hola, bonjour, como está? Ni hao, howdy, and what's up? What's going on? I'm so glad that you're here. Please subscribe, follow, and share, and tell somebody about the Sheila C. Hill Show because this is where it is. Now, today is the place to be because we have a special esteemed guest all the way from California. We're so excited for her to be here. Let me tell you a little about her because, baby, we have nothing but fire guests on the Sheila C. Hill Show. Okay. Listen, she is the founder of C.L.U.T.C.H Communications Academy, where they empower student athletes with the essential skills to excel in the world of sports, business, and personal branding. Their media training course has been meticulously designed to prepare participants for the NCAA approved name, image, and likeness deals. Ooh, that's major right there. Speaking engagement and the creation of their unique personal and professional legacies. Now, we're speaking of Miss Stacey L. Miller, and she's an esteemed educator, accomplished speakers coach, and best-selling author. As the visionary founder of CCA Media Academy, they have revolutionized the way student athletes navigate the world of media through their digital course. The Athletes Playbook, winning strategies for media success, addressing issues such as NIL and social media missteps. Their upcoming book, Come Through in the Clutch, Media Mastery for Student Athletes. Oh, I can't wait for that one. It's set to equip aspiring athletes with the essential skills to excel and spotlight and make the most of media opportunities. Listen, this is the person that you want to see. Miss Stacey Miller, welcome to the stage. Woo!
Sheila, what is it for you? Afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, from wherever you are. How are you today?
Yes. I am doing well. I'm so glad that you're here, taking time out of your busy schedule because listen, you are the one to have on a podcast. You are the one that have the wisdom and the know-how, the smarts, you beauty and brains, sis. That's what I love about it. Beauty and brains.
You are too kind. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
So let's talk about what you're offering. You have a lot, and I'm so glad that you're focusing on this because it was been so many years where these college students could not get funding, they could not get deals and different things, and but yet and still the schools were monetizing off of their likeness, off of their names, off of everything. So when they made the change, I was so happy. And I really feel for the people that already graduated and missed out on that opportunity. But to catch them early and train them, oh my goodness, and offer your courses. All right, I'm gonna stop talking. Let's ask a question. Okay. Now, how has the recent introduction of the name, image, and likeness legislation impacted student athletes' understanding of their personal brand and media presence?
Well, back in the most recent future, distant, was September. Let's go back to September 2021. That's when the legislation actually got voted in by the states to allow students to monetize their name, image, and likeness. So they just shortened it with NIL. And basically, everyone had profited from these young people's name, image, and likeness but them. And so, in fact, it was not only illegal, they could be penalized and pretty much lose everything. A lot of them lost scholarships, they lost positions, they lost um, the opportunity in some force places to move on to the next level. And then you've also seen instances where people have had some of their accolades taken away, like when there's allegation that they had been paid, because some people had participated in that. But it just really levels the playing field for a lot of the students. It gives them additional financial opportunities. As far as their personal brand and career building, it gives them opportunities to do that. It allows them to develop and enhance their own personal brands, which is separate and from their college career. So it's amazing that a lot of them can make a lot of the money and monetize without even going pro.
Wow, that's awesome. Because a lot of times their main goal is to go pro to make the money. But I was so glad to see so many college students on commercials. I mean, it has been really, really forefront that they are finally getting what they deserve. Now, what role does mindset play in the success of student athletes, both on and off the field? And how do you all help them develop a winning mentality? Because we know having the right mindset is going to be major.
Well, mindset is very important, specifically because there are so many pressures for athletes in general. Specifically with student athletes, there are the pressures of, excelling and competing at the academic level as well as the athletic level. And so there's a lot of stress for a lot of the athletes. They're worried about how to pay for college, how to, exceed in their school, and they just have so many mounting pressures, and a lot of them, their headspace is that they are thinking about things that are at home. Sometimes if they have financial burdens, they're thinking about that. And so mindset is very important. What we have them to do is we have them basically think about it and just say, listen, remove yourself from the situation. Like, first of all, a lot of them have a lot of responsibilities, and we get them to start thinking in a positive way. We have them to do meditation. We have them to do guidance. And there's even like mental health challenges that a lot of them uh, experience as a result of just all of the mounting responsibilities that they have. So mindset is extremely important.
Wow, that's great. Especially, and that's one thing we do here on the Sheila C Hill Show. We spotlight mental health because so many people, look down on it or have uh, a negative connotation to mental health. But it is so very important to catch them early and not to just spotlight it, but give them the tools that they need to get through life and get the hard times. Because if you're not equipped and if you don't have the right mindset, then you don't have that mindset to even get help, to seek help. And then, I mean, the mindset is major and it helps with so much. Now, what ages do you normally deal with for your students?
So the student athletes are normally high to college age. I've encountered most
Okay.
recently some young people that are in the middle school age that know that that's what they want to do. They know they want to pursue a career in sports. They know they want to play at the collegiate level, and most of them all have aspirations to play at professional level, but they at least know they want to play collegiate level sports. So for the most part, our target audience is normally the high school to college age students, because they're the ones that will be more inclined to be interviewed and encounter the media. At middle school age, normally you have to be pretty good to start getting looks, but some students are that good. So we are not, we don't discriminate against them. We allow them to come into the course as well, because the bottom line is that as early as you can get prepared for it, that's the best way to do, because preparation is key.
Most definitely. That is awesome, Stacey. Now, how much involvement do you have with the parents, especially being in that high school age? Um, are the parents willingly coming out? Because listen, I used to work at the after school program, and we almost had to threaten the parents to come and be involved. So how does
Well,
that work in your students and parents?
what I find usually, a lot of the parents that actually make the investment of putting their children in classes and tutoring and in the actual teams and things like that, they have an investment. They show up to games. I have an assessment with the student, but I also want the parent to be present so that they can know the strengths and the challenges that their student may have and how to support them at home. And I talk to them about the different practices and plays that they can implement at home, and how the parents can have an instrumental role in that. We do a lot of role play and mock interviews. So what I'll do is I'll give the parents a script and tell them, hey, you are the interviewer, interview your child at home, so that they could feel more comfortable with having these rapid fire questions thrown at them and different questions that they'll encounter with the media. And so I haven't had any pushback per se, and I haven't had people dropping off their kids and I have to go find them somewhere. But normally what I find is that most parents really that contribute to their child's their well-being and their collegiate and athletic careers, they're all in.
Most definitely. So basically they've already invested. They believe in their child. They put the money, the time, the sweat equity in their children. So then they're going to be more involved. But then
Yes.
you may have a parent who the kid is mainly, I've seen that, where the child is more pushing, trying to do it, and then that's where the parents sort of lack off, because the child is doing more than what the parent is. And for those, how do you deal with, say if you had a student and he was disadvantaged and his parents couldn't afford, or his parents could not, wasn't on board in the sense of coming and meeting and doing all the extra? Do you have like mentors that maybe take on kids, or how does that work?
Well, we definitely have a mentorship aspect to our program. What I do is I have some athletes that I've worked with on the professional level, and some college coaches and things like that, and some other college athletes. And I like to be able to match some people up. If I know that a student needs some extra support, I'm able to provide resources for them for mentorship. I have some wonderful people who are willing to put in the time and contribute to this person's success. It's rare, but we do have things in place for that. We just want to make sure that the students are supported in the best way possible. So whatever it is that they need, I'm a resource person, so I'll get out there, I'll make some phone calls, and I try to get them what they need so that they can be successful, because that's really the goal, is to make sure all of the
Most
students
definitely.
that
That's
encounter,
awesome.
yeah, it's a little delay.
That is awesome. Yeah, no, yeah. There's a little delay, people. So when y'all hearing, we're not talking over each other. It's just a delay in the system. Okay, so question. So you have I see you have like a partnership mentor. It's different levels to what you're offering. Now, do you have any say partnerships with your local colleges that the students, do they go on tour? How does that look in that piece of it? Or if is that a piece?
That's not a piece, but I do have partnerships with local colleges, because the bottom line is this is specifically designed for with the college athlete in mind. So
Okay.
I've been working on building some relationships in the community college as well as the state college level, to make sure that, one, the students know that our program exists and can provide them with additional support in navigating the media. But we are uh, have a few coaches that I've been in touch with, and they have teams. So I'm actually going to be speaking to a high school team next week, and the students are
Okay.
so excited because they've been winning, and so now they've been getting, those looks and those mentions in the press, and so they're excited about learning some tools and tricks about and tips about how to show up in the media and get their message across, and how to have the poise and the confidence that they like to have in order to be successful in that respect. So I'm looking really forward to that. So I'm moving into high school as well, because they seem to be very anxious about getting this information in their wheelhouse as well.
That's awesome. Okay, let's talk about the athlete's playbook, winning strategies for media success. With that course, is it a certain amount of weeks? Is it live? Is it already pre-recorded, self-paced? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the course is an online digital course. It's self-paced in that the student can log in and pick up right where they left off. There's 6 modules to it, and it takes them from learning the essentials of effective communication to preparing messages and sound bites in order to have something prepared to speak to the press, and also being able to craft their own story, because that's really important. That's the thing that makes people remember them, is to have some type of memorable anecdote or story that they could tell, and then have some type of, with examples of things that they've gone through or things that they've experienced. And then also we talk about their branding, their personal and professional branding, because I tell them that you are a brand. So in that, you always have to conduct yourself in such a way, and then you also have to show up. So I tell them that when you're representing a brand, you're representing the brand of your team, yourself, any endorsements that you may encounter, as well as the institution and school that you represent as well. So those are the things. And then we also talk about life after sports. Every student is not necessarily going to make it to the professional level, but we also talk about some of the alternatives that they could still work in the sports arena with, like, broadcasting, being an analyst, being a journalist. So there's so many other aspects to working in sports, and we just have them think about some of those things. And then we also, of course, as we talked about earlier, we talk about the mindset as well.
Oh, that's major. Yes, yes, I love it. I love it. Sounds like a wonderful, wonderful course. So, my question, you mentioned about having crafting the story, crafting their story, because I've always heard someone say, like with speaking, I'll never tell a story without making a point, never make a point without telling a story. But you have to understand how to tell the story and craft it. Now, is that is something that you all offer in your program, but can you help like regular sister out because I need some help.
Well,
You need
what
to
I
help
like
like
to
go
what
ahead.
I like to start out with is like, okay, so I say to them, when a part of crafting your story is this. Think about it as like as a message, right? It's just a conversation with another human being. But what you're doing is you're thinking about ahead of time. What
Mhm.
is it that I want these people to know about me? right? So you're specifically honing on in on a particular thing that you want your audience to either learn about you, know about you, or discover about you or rediscover. So for instance, it's kind of like if you thought you knew, then you know the real truth. So what I have them do is just really just think about, okay, who am I? What is my why? So why am I doing whatever it is that I'm doing? And then what am I doing? So it's almost like covering the who, what, when, where, and why in your message, but you craft it in such a way that it weaves a story, so everything is interconnected with the next thing. You talk about how you started, what led up to where you're going through, what you've been through, and where you're going. So you always have it in a before, during, and after sequence.
Awesome. That's awesome because being young, whether in high school or college, you have to know, and that sort of directs them on how to get to know themselves. Because listen, my daughter was just at a cheer practice and she had to fill out the application and it
Mm.
asks questions. What is your strengths? What is your weaknesses when it comes to cheering? So you have to be in touch with yourself, but a lot of times we don't focus on what do we like, what is our thing. We just do whatever is like the latest thing out there in social media land. So I love that fact that it is tapping into who they are so then they can build their brand around who they are. That is awesome, and kudos to you for that. You and your whole team. That's awesome. Okay, so now when when you have the chance to impact youth, no matter what level, you make a difference in the world because they're the next generation. They're gonna be running stuff. How do
Absolutely.
you handle the pressure of that responsibility, knowing that basically their future could possibly be in your hands? How do you handle that as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a founder, as the visionary? How much talk about that piece of how much that comes, the cost of that as well?
Well, specifically for me, I feel like it's a huge responsibility. One, I believe that, I mean, as cliche as it is, the children are the future. And in order to instill in them and equip them with the things that they need to be successful, that's a major responsibility. I don't take it lightly. I'm what you call firm, but with compassion. And what I mean by that is that I will stay on you. I want to bring out the best in the students. I preach practice, so I will drill over and over and over again. I also teach excellence because I tell them, why be mediocre when you can be excellent? So it's a major responsibility for me. One, I don't take lightly. I stay up sometimes till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just thinking about, okay, how can I make this better? How am I going to present this in a way that's engaging, that's fun, that, keeps their attention and things like that. Because the thing about it is that they're already students, right? So you don't want something that just feels like just such
Mhm.
another class. I want them to feel like this is something fun that they're interested in, something that's going to, one, of course,
Right.
benefit them, but then it also engages them in a way. It gets them thinking about things that maybe they at the college level aren't even thinking about. Some of them aren't, they may think that I want to go pro, but they don't think, what if that doesn't happen? So, just imparting that information into young people,
Mm.
it's always on my mind. I'm always thinking about it. And I'm always thinking about how to improve it. So it's definitely a huge responsibility, one that I appreciate and I do not take for granted.
That's awesome. And I know you are the beaming sunlight for these youth because your personality, your love just radiates. You brighten up a room, sis. I love to be around you. So if no one has ever told you that, listen, I appreciate you for doing that because it really shows your heart really shows. And I love that about you. And I know your kids, you probably can't even get rid of them after they graduate. But
You know, it's
but I
it's
love
it's funny. I get calls and texts all the time, checking in, telling me what they're doing.
Oh,
Friends on social media, and they're tagging me. And some of the young people have had kids and things like that, and they be like, "That's Miss Stacey." So it's really, really sweet. It's really sweet, and I've built some really lasting relationships with young people, and I don't, I consider myself, I'm not their mom, obviously, but I try to be a resource for them, someone that they can confide in and feel comfortable about,
yes.
really like learning from and gleaning from, and I really try to set an example that's one that young people can look at and say, okay, I can trust her, because it's all about trust. The KLT, know, like, and trust. You want to have people to, one, get to know you, to like you, and to trust you.
Most definitely. Do you have to be local? Do I have to be in California to do your course hands on, or I can be in a whole nother country?
You can be wherever you want to be. You can be, because it's digital, so they can just log on and download the course and take the course. If there are any questions, I provide a I call it teacher's hours, because I used to be a professor. I call it teacher's hours. So I provide an opportunity to do one-on-ones if there's some additional information that someone may need, or if there's some questions that they have, or there's some clarity that they need. So I do provide that as well. But anybody can be anywhere because it's digital.
That
They can just log
is
online.
awesome. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, okay. Because I know someone was listening and said, you know what, my nephew can use this, my child can use this. And it's not just for guys, it's any athlete. It can be either or, doesn't matter what sport, it's open to anyone.
Doesn't matter what sport, because any
Listen,
athlete, any athlete
yeah,
can
that's good
any athlete.
because okay, because I just recently saw something on the news in my area that cricket is becoming very popular. It's like one of the top sports in the world, and it's becoming very popular. So now a lot of people are getting into it. So because it's becoming more popular locally, they would need to prepare themselves for the rise, because of course they're going to be popular here because it's only one team.
Right.
So yeah, that's great.
Well, non-traditional sports are any type of sport, of course, can garner media attention, and non-traditional sports are on the rise. Like you said, cricket, polo, golf, those type things, those type of sports, they're on the rise, and people are paying particular notice to them. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. NIL has definitely been a major uh, playing field leveler for young women in sports. It has provided young women with additional opportunities for, one, exposure, and of course, monetary compensation. So, absolutely, any sport.
Okay. So do y'all offer or advise them as far as with trademarking their name?
Absolutely. I actually, that is not my expertise. That is the expertise of an attorney. But I have a couple of
Mhm.
attorneys that I'm in partnership with, that I definitely pair them up with. There is a NIL attorney by the name of Savania de Barrios, and she's doing a NIL combine for young people to come and learn all about name, image, and likeness, the responsibilities. She teaches trademarking and all those legal things that the athlete would need in order to secure their brand. And that would be, of course, trademarking their name, any slogan, or sometimes even their, how they create these little nicknames for athletes, trademarking those as well.
Uh-huh.
So absolutely. But that's not my expertise, because I'm not an attorney, but I do have attorneys that I can refer them to, for sure. but I do encourage them to do that because
That
that's
is
part of their legacy.
that is so true. That is so true. Did you know that Dr. J, out of all the years that he played, his name was not his name was never his name. His name was trademarked by like a dentist. A
Oh,
dentist like Dr. J. Yes. Yes. So
I can see that
I
happening.
mean, they of course they had to pay for it. I know his lawyer, and they actually had to go through pay the dentist, a certain amount of money so they could get the name because he's been using it for so long. But
Absolutely.
they was not educated at the beginning, like to get a trademark. So that way, what you're offering is actually helping so many that they can set up their foundation so that won't be a problem at all. So that's so great. So Miss Stacey, tell me, how can people get in contact with you? How can they get this wonderful course? Because of course it's going to be in the notes, in the show notes. Listen, I want them to get it. I know it is wonderful for all ages. I have a little godson, and he just signed on to this AAU baseball. They made a big deal in signing it and doing all this. The parent is just really into what he's doing, and he's playing at like 3 levels above. So he would need this training probably about where he is now, even though he's not in middle school, because he's getting there and he's going traveling like different states to play this baseball. So I see such a need for the parents to tap into your resources and connect with you, because it seems like you might be the GOAT, sis.
Well, there are so
You
many young.
may be the GOAT.
Thank you. There are so many young people in need of these services, and you're right. I have a cousin who is a phenom. He plays 3 sports. He's been MVP in a lot of them, and he's getting pressed. And he's not even. I don't even think he's middle school age. So the younger they are, they can get exposed. If you're that good, it happens for you. So these things are definitely a need for the young people. My course is available online. They can log on to my website and also through my social media handles. On social media, I am CCA Media Academy. So that's on Instagram, that's on Facebook. And then they can
What's your
go to my
website?
pages. My website is Presscom Academy, PRESS Com Academy.com. And I got a bit.ly
Okay.
for it too, because it just shortens it.
Okay. We'll put that
So
in
I
the
guess,
notes because we want people to connect with you and go ahead and get school for my area. School has not started yet, but a lot of the trainings are, a lot of the conditionings have started. So now is a good time to get the course. Go ahead and get your children ready for the next level. Stacey is the person that you want to get to. Level up, connect with her. We will have all the contact information in the show notes. Now, Stacey, thank you for coming on today. Is there anything that you want to share? What's some wisdom, whether it's for your students or whether it's for just entrepreneurs who's trying to make a dollar out of 15 cents, as my grandparents used to say?
okay.
What's
So
your final notes?
I can give you 4 tips, 4 quick tips on how to ace an interview with the media. 1, be prepared. So, of course, you want to do your research your interview. If you have it, if you get in advance your questions, be able to formulate your answers ahead of time if you can, and anticipate potential questions that you'll encounter. 2 is stay composed. So just maintaining your poise and your confidence, and you get that through training and knowing your message. So once you know what you're talking about, you feel a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera, and you'll be less inclined to be fidgety and anxious. I mean, it's par for the course as far as being interviewed goes, but it also makes you feel more confident when you know your subject matter and your messaging. The third thing is show your personality. Let your personality shine. I preach authenticity. I want people to be themselves. I want you to show up, with your story intact. If it's a funny story, if it's a serious story, if your personality shows forth, it makes people feel like they can relate to you, and they'll also like you as well. The fourth and final one is highlight teamwork. Always be positive in your messaging, and always remember the people who helped you get to where you are. That could be the role of your teammates, your coaches, your mentors, your parents, your family, your support system. And so those are the four tips that I have to help young people. Be prepared, stay composed, show your personality, be authentic, and highlight your teamwork.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So poised and so articulate. I really appreciate that. Thank you. You are definitely one to connect with. Thank you for coming today and blessing us with your presence and your beautiful smile, and with all the knowledge that you have to help the next generation. All right, I will chat with you if you're going to go back to backstage, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, guys, thank you very much for showing up today. Thanks for logging in. Our wonderful guest, Miss Stacey L. Miller, was definitely she's good at what she do. I told y'all that only the best on this show. I done told y'all. Anywho, listen, if you anything resonate with you today, please provide feedback. If Stacey said anything to inspire you, please let us know and we will share with her as well. But definitely want to get in contact with you in the show notes. You can go to her website, connect with her, and follow her on her social media so you can stay abreast to the changes in the industry as well. Like, subscribe to the show as well. And if you have an idea of a show, just reach out to us. We love to hear your feedback. And also, if you would like to be a guest, you have something inspiring that you want to share, or you have a wonderful, inspiring story, just reach out to us on my website, the SheilaC Hill Show.com, and we'll be glad to get back with you. In the meantime, if no one's told you today that you are loved and highly appreciated, I will be the first to tell you, baby, I love me some you, and I appreciate you. Yes, you, girl. Yes, you, boy. Yes, you, man. Yes, you, sir. All of y'all. Okay.